So, you hear a lot about Antifa and Black Lives Matter and QAnon and the Proud Boys on television and in the news. And when you're talking about the Proud Boys and QAnon, a lot of people compare them to the brown shirts and the black shirts of the mid-30s through early 40s. But let's take a look at that comparison. So, QAnon is a conspiracy group, and they're not focused around hate. They're focused in conspiracies and things like that. So we're going to go and throw them out right away. Now, the Proud Boys are a multicultural organization. They have Latino members and African American members and all that. But more to the point, they have Latino American leadership. So the idea that they're a hate group is right out the door. But now, as far as them being comparable to the brown shirts and the black shirts, well, that doesn't match up either, because the brown shirts and the black shirts were rioting anti-police organizations that supported Marxism, Marxist ideas, and socialism, just like Antifa. Now, Antifa engages in violence, period. Their name means anti-fascist. Now, a fascist is someone that will use violence and coercion and fear and manipulation to uphold their political ideologies. The only difference between Antifa and a classical fascist is that Antifa is usually not opposing their own political ideology. So they're usually going against whoever's currently in power. But they use violence. They use intimidation. They use coercion. And they use fear tactics in order to reach and maintain their political objectives. They are fascist. And since they commit crime and violence against citizens, they are, in fact, terrorists. Now let's move on to the next group, BLM, Black Lives Matter. These people are the ones that are most comparable to the black shirts and the brown shirts. So the brown shirts used to go from town to town saying, defund the police, abolish the police, dismantle the police department. And as soon as there were no more police in these neighborhoods, they would start riots. They would destroy the stores. They would steal. They would commit violence. They would do all of these things because they were against the police establishment and the fascist establishment. But the fact is, they maintain the use of violence against other people in support of Marxist and fascist ideals. And that is exactly what BLM does, and that is exactly what the brown shirts did, and that is exactly what the black shirts did. So when you're talking about BLM, Antifa, and QAnon, and the Proud Boys, it is the leftist groups that are comparable to Adolf Hitler. And it is the leftist groups that are comparable to his brown shirts and his S-boys.